Yo, what's up? You'll appreciate you for tapping in. I'm not here to beat a dead horse, but this situation is absolutely worth talking about. Somebody actually hit me up via email asking a solid question. What's the real financial risk? If someone refuses to comply with a FOIA request, so boom, let's talk about it. And I'm just keeping it all the way real with you. Because when it comes to privacy law, open records, and public access to information, I actually know my stuff. Been in it for a while. So today, we're going to break this thing all the way down. If you're new here, I'm Marcus Sand. What we do on this channel is simple. We give raw attorney reactions to everything from viral headlines to government drama. If you get any value from this video, even a little bit, don't forget to hit that like. Drop a comment, share it with somebody who needs to hear it, and of course, subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to show love, consider becoming a member. Members get access to exclusive live streams, behind-the-scenes content, and early access to videos before the public gets them. Now back to the main story. I know y'all are all too familiar with the Tiffany Henyard saga by now. It started off with a lot of hope, young, bold, first black female mayor in Dalton. She was supposed to bring new energy, new ideas, and real change. But somewhere along the way, that promising story flipped into a complete disaster. Chaos. If there was a Financial Clown of the Year award, her name would be right at the top. I mean, think about it. This is somebody who is pulling in over $300,000 a year.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard appeared in court virtually yesterday, complying with the judge's order. It stemmed from a Freedom of Information Act request from a downstate organization seeking credit card records. According to court documents, Henyard ignored the request and failed to show up for a hearing on the matter. Henyard has until next Friday to provide that paperwork. The judge also ordered her to appear in court in person next Friday.
At one point, and now, she might be sitting at zero. Dead zero. Unless one of y'all in the comments knows something different, that's where she's at. Anyway, let's circle back to the FOIA situation. This right here is big. We've got a Freedom of Information Act challenge currently going on. And the big question was, did Tiffany Henyard even bother to show up to court for it? So we pulled the footage. I'm going to take a quick look at that in a second. But first, let's talk about what this could cost her. Because when a public official refuses to comply with a FOIA request, it's not just a slap on the wrist, depending on how the judge sees it. And especially if it looks like the refusal was intentional or reckless, she could end up personally on the hook for thousands. And I'm not talking about a small fine. We've seen similar cases rack up 6 figures in legal fees and penalties. That means that even though she's technically out of office, Tiffany Henyard could end up leaving the village of Dalton stuck with a giant bill. A bill they didn't ask for, a bill they don't deserve. And here's the real kicker. She might have walked out of that office, but she didn't walk away clean. Nope. Because that FOIA challenge, that's still tied to her, her decisions, her refusal to hand over records, her shady tactics. And when the court weighs that out, it could mean real money out of her pocket or worse. Taxpayer dollars being wasted cleaning up her mess. Again, she really is the gift that keeps on giving in the worst way possible. So stick around. We're about to roll that court footage, see if she actually bothered to show up, and break down exactly what the next steps might look like. Trust me, this ain't over. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. Tiffany Henyard did show up to court, but she didn't bother to appear in person. She popped in via Zoom, and the judge wasn't having it. He told her straight up that next time, she'd better be physically present. Now, that moment might seem small, but it set off a bigger conversation. What kind of financial consequences could she or the village of Dalton face because of this ongoing FOIA mess? Somebody emailed and asked, what happens when someone fails to comply with a Freedom of Information Act request? And let me tell you, it can get real expensive real fast. See, FOIA isn't just about handing over paperwork. It's about transparency. When a government official or agency receives a public records request, they are legally obligated to respond and either produce the documents or give a valid reason why they can't. There are exemptions, personal privacy, active law enforcement, investigations, certain personnel records, but none of that applies if you simply ignore the request. That's exactly what Tiffany Henyard allegedly did. No communication. No compliance? Nothing. That's not just shady, it's risky. Here's the breakdown. If a public body denies or ignores a FOIA request and the requester files a lawsuit, the court can often disorder the agency to pay the requesters. Legal fees, especially if they hand over the documents only after being sued. At the federal level, those fees can shoot up to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Even though Dalton's situation is playing out in state court, it can still get costly. Lawyers don't come cheap, and taxpayers will be the ones footing the bill. And if the judge thinks Henyard intentionally withheld documents or acted in bad faith, she could even face personal accountability. The court might not make her pay the full penalty, but it would destroy any credibility she has left and possibly open her up to future legal action. Let's not forget, Tiffany was making over $300,000 a year at one point. Now, thanks to her own actions, she might be walking away with nothing but lawsuits and a wrecked reputation. The irony? Even though she's out of office, she could still end up costing the village of Dalton thousands, maybe more, just by dragging her feet and playing games with public records. And all this just because she couldn't be bothered to do the right thing. So yeah, showing up via Zoom might have been a bad look. But the real problem is the legal heat coming her way from that FOIA case. If she really thought ignoring that so. Here's the million-dollar question. Will Tiffany Henyard end up leaving the village of Dalton with a massive legal tab? Even though she's officially out of office, her actions or lack thereof are still putting a financial strain on the city. That FOIA case isn't just a political issue, it's a legal and monetary one. And now the debate is heating up over who should actually be held accountable. Should Tiffany Henyard be personally on the hook for the costs her behavior triggered? Or should the village of Dalton, meaning the taxpayers, be left holding the bag simply because she was acting in her role as mayor when the alleged violations occurred? It's a tough call. On one hand, if she was using her official position to dodge transparency and ignore lawful requests, then it feels fair that she should bear some personal responsibility. After all, it was her name on the door, her hands on the controls. But on the flip side, those actions were taken under the umbrella of a government office, and that means the city might still be liable, no matter who's sitting in the mayor's seat today. That's the frustrating part. Government failures often get paid for by the public, not the person who caused them. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Should Tiffany be made to pay out of pocket for this? Or does the blame and bill fall on the office she used to hold? And if you got any value out of this breakdown, make sure to hit those other videos on the screen for more attorney insights and trending legal drama. Till next time, peace.